Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. Today is the 10th week of our 10-week series on the success principles. So I'm excited to bring this to a close and be able to offer you guys some stuff that we can take this and continue working forward with it. But first off, my name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me right up here at oursuccessgroup.com. Appreciate everybody checking in this morning. Sandy, good morning. And Christine, good morning to you. And Chuck, good morning. And Nan, thank you guys so much for being here this morning. Looking forward to wrapping up this series. It's been fantastic, and I really appreciate all of you guys being along here and participating and your comments, and so please keep that coming. I'm looking forward to hearing more from you and sharing what we're finding valuable in all of this. And so at the end, I'm going to yes, it's still getting things moving. We were out last night we went and saw Krampus last night down at historic St. Charles, Missouri. So it was a little chilly out there last night. So head's still a little stuffed up. I've got some tea in front of me. So while Jack is talking, I will take down some tea here, Nan. Somebody needs honey for your voice. Yes, indeed. All right. So real quick, before we get into that, though, I just wanted to make sure that I shared some information with you guys. We've got about 12 days left here of being able to apply for the Masters of Success program, and limited spaces available for that. So we keep the groups to a small size, and so we're looking for certain groups. Plus, we need to make sure that people are in the right groups and also in the right place to be able to take their businesses seriously, to be able to commit to this and move forward. It's an extremely powerful opportunity to be in a mastermind group. So it takes some commitment, but at the same time, it also will just boost and rocket your success forward, move you a lot further ahead of where you thought you might be able to be. So if you want to check that out and go see what that's all about, apply, get all the details, whatnot, go to oursuccessgroup.com/MOS, which stands for Masters of Success. And so again, about 12 days left on that. And then the next thing I wanted to share with you guys is the Success Tracker. If you have not already signed up for the Success Tracker, I think most of the folks here that I see in the comments so far have done this, but if you haven't, please make sure you go over to oursuccessgroup.com/ST. And great way to achieve a one-year goal and to have that help and support and some accountability and some cheerleaders. And plus you get some fun swag along the way. So just great tool to be able to get from point A to point B. So at the end of 2021, you can say, okay, cool. I made a big goal. I got that done. I checked that off. I was able to do that. So go over to oursuccessgroup.com/ST and check that out. And if you'll use the code THANKS, THANKS, that will get you 20% off, and which makes it, instead of $25, that will make it $20. So it's a great $20 investment that will help you reach a goal. We give you a specific formula that you can work through each day that will help you get closer to your goal each day. And what we've found is that you're going to wake up one day and go, oh my gosh, I'm closer, or I'm there, or I made my milestone way sooner than I expected. I'm going to reach this goal quicker. I'm going to surpass this goal. All of these great experiences that people have had already being part of the Success Tracker program are available to you right down there, oursuccessgroup.com/ST. So check those two things out. All right. So with that being said, let's what we're talking about today is believe in yourself. And what this is, a big part of what this is getting your mindset in the right place so you can achieve the things that you're looking to achieve. And we do this by using affirmations. And so what Jack's going to talk about today is setting affirmations for yourself, setting specific affirmations that are going to work for the things you want to work towards. So it's one thing to say, okay, I want to do this, but until you can get yourself to believe that you can do that, you have to believe in yourself is the trick here. So I'm going to let Jack talk, and then we will come back and talk about that. Plus, we will review all the other 9 weeks that we've been through. And then I've got a special thing for folks that want to participate. I've got a couple of freebies, so to speak, that we'll give out to people that want to participate, plus an opportunity for some coaching calls and some opportunities to really use these 10 weeks and make them even more valuable for you, hopefully. So good morning to you, Cheryl. Thank you for joining us. And Jerry, I'm glad that you're here, and hopefully this will be just what you need, sir. So great to have you along this morning. All right, so I'm going to flip over. I'm going to let Jack talk for about, looks like 4 minutes and 38 seconds. And then we'll be back to review this. So here we go.
Welcome back. To be powerful, you need to take the position that you create or allow everything that happens to you. And by create, I mean you directly cause something to happen by your actions or your inactions. If you walk up to a person in a bar who is bigger than you and has obviously been drinking for a long time, and you say to him, you're really ugly and stupid, and then he jumps off the bar stool and hits you, you end up in a hospital. You created that. That's clear. That's an easy to understand principle. But here's one that may be a little harder to swallow. You work late every night. You come home tired and burned out. You eat dinner in a coma, and then you sit down in front of the television to watch a basketball game. You're too tired and stressed out to do anything else, like going for a walk and playing with the kids. And this goes on for years. And your wife asks you to talk to her, and you respond by saying, later, I'm watching the game. 3 years later, you come home to an empty house and a note that says she's left you and she's taken the kids. Well, you created that one too. Now, other times, we simply allow things to happen to us by our inaction and our unwillingness to do what is necessary to create or maintain what we want. For example, take away privileges if the kids didn't clean up after themselves, and now the house looks like a war zone. You didn't demand he join you in couples counseling, and you didn't leave the first time he hit you, so now you're still getting hit. You didn't attend any sales trainings or motivational seminars because you were too busy, and now that new kid just won the top sales award. You didn't take the time to take the dogs to obedience training, and now they're totally out of control. Or you didn't take the necessary time to maintain your car, and now you're sitting by the side of the road with your car broken down. Or you didn't go back to school, and now you're being passed over for that promotion you wanted. Realize that in all these situations, you were not a victim. You stood passively by and let it happen. You didn't say anything. You didn't make any demands or any requests. You didn't say no. You didn't try something new or simply leave. You didn't do what was necessary to get what you wanted. Now, if you're willing to take an honest look at your life, you'll realize that nothing ever just happens to you. Just like the yellow alerts in the Star Trek series on television, you almost always receive advanced warnings in the form of telltale signs, comments from others, your gut feelings, or your intuitive sense that alert you to the impending dangers, and which, if paid attention to, would give you the time to prevent the unwanted outcomes. You are getting these yellow alerts all the time, both externally and internally. An example of external yellow alerts would be something like there's alcohol in his breath when he said he doesn't drink, or he said he was out with a client, but then he comes home with lipstick on his collar, or the first check they paid you bounced, or this person screamed at his secretary, or his mother warned you, or your friends told you. Examples of internal yellow alerts would be that feeling in your stomach, that fleeting thought that just maybe he is somebody that you can't trust, or that intuitive thought you had about maybe I shouldn't get involved with that deal, or that sudden feeling of fear that emerges, or that dream you had that woke you up in the middle of the night. These yellow alerts give you all the time you need to change your response in the E plus R equals O, or event plus response equals outcome equation. Now, the problem is that most people ignore these yellow alerts because it would be too inconvenient and too uncomfortable to acknowledge them and act on them. It's uncomfortable to confront your spouse about the cigarettes in the ashtray with lipstick on them. So instead, you pretend not to see them. It's uncomfortable to speak up in a staff meeting when you're the only one who thinks the proposal won't work. It's uncomfortable to tell someone you don't trust them. So you pretend not to see and not to know because it's easier, more convenient, and less uncomfortable. It avoids confrontation, keeps the peace, and protects you from having to take risks. So your homework this week is to take some time to ask yourself, what external and internal yellow alerts am I currently getting that I'm ignoring in my life? And finally, what actions, however uncomfortable they might be, do I need to take in order to avoid the unwanted consequences of ignoring these important messages? So take the time to really honestly answer those questions, and then take the time to begin taking action to avoid the outcomes that you don't want to experience.
Okay. So there we go. There's the yellow alerts. Now, I'm going to also next get this screen up here. Whoops, I don't want to start that again. Let me hit the wrong button. Let's try something else here. There we go. All right. So the next screen that we want to share is the our share screen here. Is we want to put up the worksheet. Where is that? There we go. Sorry about that. It wasn't quite at that spot yet. Okay. So we've got that. Let me make it a little bit bigger here. So what you believe is up to you, is what this is. And I am going to give you, thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl says, Sandy says, wow, I think he's talking about me. Cheryl says, I completely agree. Chuck, powerful video. Yeah, it is very powerful. And it is, at first it's a little hard to take in. It to me, at least, it was definitely a little bit of a challenge to accept all of that. But once I realized that being able to accept all of that, being able to accept all of those things that he said as truth, I went from being a little bit like to, wow, I feel empowered. I feel like I do have control over the things that I want to have control. So Jerry says, yeah, me too, Sandy. So thinking about all those things, thinking about what he said, again, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. What works, what doesn't work, what are you feeling right now? What just went through your body? What, just put it out there. So Nan says this week's going to be hard but needed. And it is, yeah. That this is going to be hard but needed. What things are you doing there, and what things can you control? Jerry says Jack always hits home. He 100% does for me, Jerry. That's why I've been so attracted to all of this work, because it is that, to me, it is that perfect mix of, it makes me uncomfortable, but it makes me feel empowered. So I've discovered in my life that when there's something in front of me that makes me uncomfortable, but it also makes me feel empowered, that's typically the thing that I need to do. And it's getting over that uncomfortable part to get to that empowered part that is the key to my success. It has been the key to my success. So, all right. So you guys, while you're bringing in comments, let's go over this worksheet that goes along with it, because now we have some then tools that once we take and we determine what those yellow alerts are, we can instead, so when that yellow alert says, maybe we shouldn't do that, what do I need to do instead? And these insteads are, we need to believe in ourselves. We need to have those affirmations. So let me do this. Let me put this in the comments here real quick so you guys can also download this. There we go. Perfect. So if you just click on that link, if you're in YouTube, there should be a link there. If you're in Facebook, there should be a link there. You can click on that link, and that'll take you to this exercise PDF sheet that you're seeing on your screen right now. And if you are catching the podcast version of this, just head into facebook.com/Our Success Group Pro, and you'll be able to find the Small Business Saturdays series, and the links will be in there. So let's see. Jerry says, I've always known that I have control, but taking control is what I need, but have not done nearly enough. Jerry, I am right there with you, sir. That is a similar challenge for me, is that, yes, I do know that I'm in control, but it has seemed to be easier to try to be the victim, blaming, complaining, which we talked about a couple weeks ago, all of that stuff. And if you do that, then you're giving away your power to somebody else. You're giving away your life to somebody else. You're leaving it up to somebody else. So what I've determined helps me is again, yes, if it feels a little bit uncomfortable, but it also feels empowering, find that. But then also doing these things that we're going to talk about on the worksheet here will also give you that, okay, so because what this does is it helps you focus on what you want, and you don't worry as much about what you don't want. In fact, you realize that the things that you don't want are just inhibiting you. And so you do take the action to, get out of that situation, say no, change jobs, all of these things that sometimes get in the way of what we truly want. And here's the trick, because you talk about these things, and so we can come up with all sorts of examples, but to just say it isn't going to make it happen right now today. But what needs to happen right now today is for you to take the very first step that you need to take to start making that change. So, if it is to change jobs, or if it is to really take your business seriously, or if it is to, hire somebody, fire somebody, whatever challenge that's in front of you, what I hope you take from this empowerment today is, let's take that one action today. And that one action could be just deciding that you're going to do it, and then putting some affirmations in place that are going to help you feel more empowered when you can say these things. So I'll let you read what's on the screen there. I don't need to read that for everybody here, but it's important to state your affirmations in the present and positive. That point I wanted to make sure that we make. So it's really important that we state our affirmations in the present and positive. And what that means, and he's got an example that I'll show you in just one second, but let me first, what that means is that we need to state our affirmation as if it's already happened, and what the positive outcome. So if we're trying to change something, we don't want to take the, the negative side of that. We want to, what's the positive alternative to that? Everything's got a yin and yang, a positive and negative. So what's the positive side of things? So before we go to his example, let's get Cheryl's comment up here. Great comment, Cheryl. I think when I take responsibility for my decisions, not blaming circumstances or people, gives me the ability to win. I then can take control of what I think and speak into existence. That I love that, to take control of what I think and speak into existence. That's and honestly, that's what an affirmation is. That's perfect. So Cheryl just described an affirmation for us. Thank you, Cheryl. So let's see here. So for example, rather than saying I want a beautiful new house, say I own a cozy home with great energy and good vibes. So now we're going to use that same format, the present and positive, and we're going to come up with at least 10 affirmations. And your goal is to read them for the next 10 days. So you can put them in there, and he's got spots for 10 of them. And they can be all about your business. They can be, a mix of things. I've found that, again, if I'm looking for really good work-life balance, that I want to have my affirmations be affirmations that cover a lot of areas of my life. So you get a lot of that happening. So you can have them on the sheet and have them available to you. But as he says, let's read them every day for the next 7 days. I find that this is a good exercise to do first thing in the morning. Some people like to write them down on like 3x5 note cards and bring them with them and do all that. All right. So that's week 10. Again, whatever thoughts, feelings, comments, suggestions, ideas that you all have about week 10 here, please feel free to bring those into the comments, and we'll go over those. But what I want to do right now, while you guys are bringing that stuff, because there's a little delay in this, is I want to also start on going back and reviewing what we've done over these 10 weeks. And I apologize for the kind of little scratchy voice, and try not to cough too much into the mic here. So bear with me here. Like I said, we went out and we're outside last night when it was a little bit chilly. So I'm feeling a little stuffy today, but feel fine, not sick, just a little stuffy. So we'll get it all cleared out here today. All right. So the first week was be clear why you were here. And in that first week, we talked about just that, getting clear as to what we're passionate about, why we're on this planet, why we're, what things just kind of are our spark, are the why, the mission, the purpose, however that clicks for you. We talked about ways that we can do that. And I'm going to also give you another way to work on that here at the end. So stay tuned for that. The second week, we talked about deciding what you want, coming up with all of the goals. What's your bucket list? What's your 101 goals list? What are all the things, the actions, the outcomes, what is it that you want your life to be, the specifics of it, all of the, again, bucket list type things. So that was week 2. Week 3, we clarified our ideal life vision. So we took all the different areas of our lives and we basically wrote a narrative about it. We wrote a story about what our lives look like in each area of our life, what that ideal success is at that point, and so in our business, what does it look like at its ideal success? And so we wrote about a paragraph narrative about each of those areas. So we took the things that we wanted, we took our purpose, we kind of combined them together, and we got a real clarity, a picture in our mind of what our ideal vision of life looked like. And then week 4, we believed your dream is possible. We talked about getting into those beliefs and really kind of understanding what the dream was, but then taking that dream and making it a reality, or starting to make it a reality by making a public declaration. So by making a public declaration, we put it out there to the universe. We got people excited about it. We talked about the success tracker as a great tool for being able to believe your dream is possible. And so that was week 4. Week 5, we went and we made our goals SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, trackable. We talked about how to get those goals into a place where we can really supercharge them and get them moving forward. But basically boiling down that formula to how much and by when. How much and by when. It is what we talked about in week 5. Week 6, we chose our breakthrough goal, the BHAG, I think is what Christine had for us. The WIG, the wild, what's anyhow, the big goal, the thing that if you can get to that goal, if you can reach that goal, that'll start things on a whole new path. That's kind of not necessarily the pinnacle, but that's where things change, and that's where you really can believe in yourself. It could be the pinnacle, and it could just be, okay, at that point we can, that's really kind of got us to where we want to go, and we can really bring that to in. But it's the big goal, and for me, that big goal was having 1,000 people in the Masters of Success program for at least a quarter by December 31st, 2024. So, all right. So that was week 6. Week 7, we talked about taking full control of our lives. This was 7, 8, 9. Yep. This was the first of inside this was the first of the 3-part series on taking 100% responsibility for our lives. Jack introduced what he mentioned today, the E+R=O. And so we really kind of started with that. We kind of brought that equation into our success thoughts, and that was a great week. And then we continued on that same take 100% responsibility for your life segment, that 3-part segment inside of this. And week 8 was all about giving up, blaming, and complaining. And in week 8, we came up with the hashtag fishbowl. So if you see anybody out there blaming or complaining on social media, just use the hashtag fishbowl. And you don't have to say anything else. Just put fishbowl up there, and you'll and we'll all know. And then if somebody asks you what that means, then you can direct them over here to week 8 or just to this whole entire series. So that was week 8. Last week, we talked about creating the results that we wanted, where that really got us into getting over the resentments and kind of really talking through some of the things that Jack started with, where we create some of these things. And how is it that we created that? What was our role? What could have been a different response? How are we going to change that? That kind of thing. So that was week 9. And then obviously you guys had week 10 today. So that's the program. That's the 10 weeks. If you can take those 10 weeks and really do something with them and use all those tools, it's huge. There's obviously a lot of other principles and things that we can do around that, but that right there is the core. That's the key to all of this. So, with that being said, first and foremost, one of the big reasons that I wanted to do this for myself is that I am just about to that point where it's time to take my certification test and get that going. In fact, throughout this, I've wrapped up the last of the modules in that training for the Success Principles certification. And so for those of you that weren't aware of this, it's time. So I wanted to try to culminate week 10 here and have the best feelings for myself, have the best affirmations for myself, feel really comfortable with the material, because after we get done here today, I'm going to go upstairs, spend a little bit of time with my family, have some breakfast, and then I've carved out 2 hours today that I am going to take the test today. So you guys have inspired me to really make sure I get this done. This is a big thing for me. I've invested some money in it, but it's also really scary. The imposter syndrome and on all of those things come up for me in all of this. And thank you, Christine. I appreciate that you saying that. Congratulations on completing your training. I'm really excited about it. I feel really good about it. I feel like I connect with the material. So I totally feel good about it, but it doesn't make it any less scary. So it's that thing that I talked about earlier where it makes me feel a little uncomfortable, but it's also very empowering. So I know I need to do it. So I'm just putting this out there, public declaration for you guys, that I will take the test today, and then I have to do essays as well. And then they say that within 30 days, they will have my answer back, whether I passed or not. Jerry asked certification 4. So Jerry, I am training to become a actual certified Jack Canfield Success Principles trainer. And I've been actually doing that. I signed up for the program in June of 2019. My original goal was to try to get it done in a year, but with our success group taking off and everything else, I made excuses. This 10-week program was a way for me to really kind of make sure that I was confident enough in myself to take this test. If I don't know why I've stressed so much about it. If I don't pass, they'll give me feedback. But as Sandy says, I believe this, and I've worked to believe this in myself. She says, you got this. So I am excited to do this today. And I appreciate all your guys' support. Wendy says, expanding ourselves is always scary, but rewarding. Perfect. That's perfectly said, Wendy. Thank you very much. And then Christine says, imposter syndrome is the worst. I fight that occasionally and I hate it. Nothing like your own brain telling you that you're not qualified or suited for what you want to do. It really is, Christine. That is really the worst. But I think, honestly, that is probably the biggest obstacle that most of us face. In fact, I would venture to say that almost all of us face that. I don't know too many people that aren't their own worst critic. I was listening to a meditation on calm the other morning, and it was about self-trust and trusting in ourselves and really kind of getting to that point. We've had different things that we didn't necessarily work out the way we wanted to in our lives or things. And just over a period of time, because we spend the most time with ourselves, we've had the most opportunity to, I don't want to say disappoint ourselves, but things don't always go to plan. So, for most of us, we take that and we just lose more trust in ourselves, lose more trust in ourselves, lose more trust in ourselves. And if we can change that mindset and get to this point where we believe in ourselves, we believe in ourselves through a couple things. For me, is what's worked, and one of them is really getting this take 100% responsibility thing and quote unquote thing and living it and really being it. Because while it might seem yucky at first, it also is the most empowering thing that's ever happened for me. So that's the first part. And then just changing the narrative, changing your inner critic into an inner coach. Somebody, like I've used this example of I've been a volleyball coach for many years of my life, and I love volleyball, and I've loved coaching, and I've loved working with young people and just really kind of getting them to understand and love the game as much as I do. And while I'm not always the easiest coach, I'm not there to make friends with the kids, and I want to push them to be the best version of themselves. But at the same time, I'm not sitting there telling them that they're stupid and you can't do this and you're never going to get there. And So I'm a coach. I'm encouraging and pushing and challenging. But our inner voice needs to be that same thing. Our inner voice needs to be that coach instead of a critic. Oh, Aaron, you can't do this. Oh, that was terrible. Why did you do it that way? Oh my gosh, you screwed that up. And so that's the inner critic. What the inner coach needs to be telling us is, hey, great job on that. Way to get that done. Let's look at ways that we can improve this. Let's keep moving forward. You've got this. I know you can do this. So changing that narrative inside of us is really important to me, for me personally, and I believe that it'll be incredible for you guys too. So Jerry says, that's an incredible positive trainer to be. You are the perfect person to be that person. Oh, thanks, Jerry. That really makes me feel good. And then Jerry Delheimer says, thanks for doing this. This will help all of us a ton if we put the effort in on our part. Jerry, I know you will. And honestly, Jerry, I know that you are working towards some things, and you've going through some transitions and doing some things. But the growth that I've seen in you since I first met you is unbelievable. It's fantastic. So first off, celebrate what you have been able to do. You guys have a really great business. I know you're a great screen printer. You've done a lot of really amazing things. You've helped a lot of people along the way. So, I'm really excited just to see you take this thing to the next level, Jerry. I'm really proud to call you a friend. Christine says, that word trust. I have such a hard time with trust. It's difficult for me to both trust myself and trust others. I know my trusting issues get in my way sometimes. Christine, you are certainly not alone there. So Jerry says, awesome point. Changing the inner critic to an inner coach. Love that. Good. Yeah, it's been a battle for me, but a battle that I'm winning. So hopefully I can help you guys win that battle as well. All right. So with that being said, again, keep them coming. So this doesn't mean your comments, you don't need to keep those comments full on. We'll get back to them. I'm happy to, I'm happy to as you guys know, I'm happy to jump around, chase the squirrel, no problem. That's kind of my thing on Small Business Saturdays here. But okay, Jerry says, thanks, I'm ready. Wendy says, that encouraging and supporting is why you are doing this. Thank you very much, Wendy. You are absolutely right. That is why I'm doing this. Okay. So let me do this real quick while you guys, if there's any other thoughts that come in. So let me just get this section. So I told you guys that, and I've mentioned this, I think, for a couple of weeks here, but if you're willing to share your exercises, so all of the worksheets, and I'm going to do two things after we get done here. I will post on this video, on our Facebook video. I'll see if I can, I'll add it on the YouTube side as well. So where you're watching this at right now, if you'll come back, and if you give me 15, 20 minutes after we're done here, if you'll come back here, I will post a link to every single one of these worksheets that we've done from exercise 1 all the way through exercise. Actually, there's 9 worksheets because there was 1 week that there was not a worksheet. So I will post all 9 of those worksheets in the comments here. if you haven't already got those. But if you do, great. And what I want you to do is, and I will also post the YouTube playlist that has all of these videos here, so you can go back to them. And what I want you to do is fill them out completely, fill them out to the best of your abilities, and do the things that, and fill them out. There's going to be a lot of pages, and that's okay. And what I want you to do is I want you to send them to me. You can take pictures of them, whatever's easiest for you, send them to me. I want you to send them to me by email. In fact, I'm going to put that my email my own personal email right up above us here. There we go. So it's Aaron@montcoconsulting.com. So this is just between you and I. So you can do that. The other thing that you can do, and this is just kind of a cool tool that maybe is worthwhile having in general, because I know I use it a whole lot. But let me show it to you on my screen here. So, oh boy, we're going to get a glare in there. Sorry about that. Okay, so right there, Adobe Scan. So this is a free app. It's from Adobe, so a good quality, reputable app. It's called Adobe Scan, and basically what it is it's a device to scan a document. So if I take and I just set this document right out here, I hold this over the top and let it find the document, and I'm holding it over the top right now. It scans the document even with my shadow in there, because I'll show you in just one second what it looks like, and it scans it. Probably try to get it without the shadow might be better, but we'll show you what this looks like here. And it's going to convert it for us. And let's see if I rotate up there. And now I've got, oops, okay. Now I've got the scanned document there. You can see it caught my shadow a little bit, but it scans the document basically like an actual scanner. And then I can hit the save as PDF button right up there. And I can just scan all of these documents. I've scanned 30, 40, 50 sheets at a time. And once I have that saved document in there, then I just hit the share button right up there, and I can send it. One of the share options is email, and there you go. And I can just email those things right over to me. So if you'll email those to Aaron@MontCo Consulting, and I will also put that in the comments for you guys. Always great when you're typing and trying to talk at the same time. Okay. The pat your head and rub your belly thing. So Aaron@MontCo Consulting is where you'll send that to. And if you'll do that for me, I've got 3 things that I'll give you. And you don't, so the first 2 things are things. So the first thing is actually a white paper that I've made up about finding your why. It kind of explains the process. It gives you some ideas. Plus it also gives you some questions to answer that once you answer those questions, you can kind of start finding patterns inside those answers. And those answers will really help you get to a point where you find what your purpose is. Using those tools was how I got to mine. And so that's the first thing that you'll get. And the second thing you'll get is my wife has done a training called, and I want to get it right here, Empower Your Life, using the #1 success principle to lead yourself to success. And it's a quick training about taking 100% responsibility for your life. So she's doing that, or we're wrapping up, we're putting the finishing touches on that. So that will be available to you as well. Just a quick video that you can watch on that. And then the third thing that you'll get if you'll send me those things is you will get an opportunity. You don't have to do this. It's not required, but there'll be a link there that you can go to, and you can pick a time on my calendar to do a 30-minute coaching session together. Okay. So we'll review these. I'll give you my feedback. You can ask me questions, just an opportunity to do a one-on-one coaching session. And totally free. Normally that's about a $75 value. But I have this need. I talked yesterday on 2 regular guys about checking the boxes, being fulfilled. And one of the things that really fulfills me is that opportunity to watch people grow and blossom, and to know that, I was there to maybe give them just a little step up. So it is a really great opportunity there if you want to do that. Again, not required. So don't feel like just because you send that in, you have to do the coaching session if you're not comfortable doing that at this point, but it's an opportunity for you. And I will leave that open for you as long as you want. You don't have to do it right away. That link will always be good. And whenever you're ready, you click on the link, you pick a time that works for you, and we'll do that. Okay. I appreciate you saying that, Jerry. Thank you for saying that it's generous. It also really does something for me too. So don't think that you're taking advantage of me here. This is what checks the boxes for me. So Tina says, thank you for all you do. I've missed bits and pieces and need to watch replay for some of what I missed. Absolutely no problem, Tina. And like I said, if you guys will give me about 10-15 minutes after we wrap up here, I will actually put the link to all of the previous ones in there. Plus, I'll put links to each of these worksheets in there. So it's all in one place. So wherever you're watching at right now, either on YouTube or on Facebook, you can go back and just like I said, give me about 15 minutes, refresh that. On YouTube, they'll just be in the description of the video. On Facebook, I'll just add a comment into the end of it. Okay. All right, you guys. So that is what I've got for you. I keep saying, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm going to go take the test after I get those things up there, and I have a little chance to spend some time with my family. I appreciate all of your guys' encouragement. Because of you, I know I do have this. So thank you very much. And the other last thing that I want to leave you guys with is, Christine has agreed that, so we're going to be off here Small Business Saturdays for the next 2 weeks. We've got the Christmas holiday coming up next week, and then we've got New Year's the week after that. So we're going to take 2 weeks off of Small Business Saturdays. And then when we come back, and I want to just go to my calendar real quick to make sure I got the date right. Yeah. When we come back on the 9th, January 9th at 8 a.m., I'm going to be joined by Christine Shreve. If you don't know who Christine is, you need to go look her up and get involved with what she's got going on. She does the Women Plus Business podcast. So if you go to christineshreve.com, you can see all of her information. She also started the Women in Garment Decorating Facebook group. So go find that on Facebook and join it if you're not already a part of it. Now, you do have to be a woman to be a part of that. So if you're a guy, just go over there and support them and make sure that you're sharing with all the women in your life and growing that group, because I hear nothing but amazing, fantastic things about that. So anyways, Christine's going to join me on the 9th, and she's been really integral throughout this 10-week process of sharing her thoughts and feedback. So I'm going to have her on. And I just want to hear all of her, we're going to start with week 1, and I'm going to say, okay, Christine, here was week 1. What do you think about it? And we're going to kind of go back and forth and just have a really great conversation about this 10-week program as a way to kind of tie it all together, to wrap it up, to put a really nice bow on it for me and hopefully for you guys. So, yeah, Tina says, I'm really proud of the amazing women in that group. So, excellent. So check that out. That'll be on January 9th. But until then, so everybody have a really happy holiday, blessed and happy holiday. Tina says, hope everyone has a refreshing, blessed and happy holiday. And Christine, happy holidays to everybody. Yes, happy holidays to all of you guys. Hopefully it's everything you could want and more. Hopefully Santa brings the things down your chimney that you need and want in your life. And, maybe some of the things that Santa can bring you are this empowerment, the ability to take 100% responsibility for your life, the success that you desire, or at least the first steps to that success that you desire. Okay. All right, you guys, appreciate everything. Have a wonderful rest of your year. Happy New Year. 2021 is upon us, and it's going to be an amazing, fantastic year in 2021. And I cannot wait to talk to you all again with Christine on the 9th of January. All right. Everybody have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.